Okay, so we're going to work on rounding. So when you round, you underline the place being rounded. So we're going to round to the nearest hundred. So we have 1,239. So if we look down here, the hundreds place is here. So we have a 2. So we have 200. So we're going to underline the place being rounded. So we underline the 2. We're going to look at the number to the right. So we're going to look next door to the 3. If this number to the right is 5 or more, then we're going to raise the score. We're going to round this number up that's underlined. If it's 4 or less, we're going to let it rest. We're going to keep this a 2. So if it's 4 or less, we're going to keep it a 2. If it's 5 or more, we're going to go up, raise that score up to 3. So we come down here, we look, here's a 2. Look next to it, there's a 3. Since that is 4 or less, we are going to let this 2 rest. So we're going to keep everything in front of it. So we're going to keep the 1,000, we're going to keep the 200, and everything behind it becomes a 0. So change all the numbers to the right of the underlined number to 0. The reason why is because you're rounding to the nearest hundred. So if you look at the hundreds place, you have 200. So you're trying to figure out, would this round to 200 or 300? Those are your only options. So it's either going to be 1,200 or 1,300. So let's look at this number, 546. So the hundreds place is underlined. So we're going to round to the nearest hundred. So we have to look at the number next door. So that number is a 4. If it's 5 or more, we're going to raise the score. If it's 4 or less, we're going to let it rest. So since it's 4 or less, we let it rest. This is going to stay a 5. So we're trying to figure out, we're running to the nearest hundred, so it's either going to be 500 or it's going to be 600. Those are our only options because we're rounding to the nearest hundred. So it's 500 or 600. So if you look next door, we have a 5. This is the hundreds place. We're trying to figure out if this is going to stay a 500 or go to a 600. So we look next door. This is a 4. Remember, 4 or less. Let it rest. So this is going to round to 500. All right, let's look down at the next one. 382. If you notice, the place that is underlined is actually the tens place this time. So we're trying to figure out if we're going to round to the nearest 10. Are we going to round to 380 or 390? Those are our only options. The 100 is going to stay the same. We are not going to change that. We're going to keep the 100, but we're trying to figure out if this 10 is going to stay an 8 or become a 9. So we're either going to have $380 or $390. We're trying to figure out what is this closer to, 380 or 390. Those are your only two options. So we underline the digit that we're rounding, which is the 8. We look at the number next door, which is a 2. You can circle it. If this 2 is 5 or more, we're going to raise the score. If it's 4 or less, we're going to let it rest. So this is 4 or less. We're going to let this 8 rest, and everything behind it becomes a 0. So that means that it is going to round 382, rounded to the nearest 10, will round to 380. Okay, I want for you to try to round this number. So we're rounding to the nearest 10, 426, the nearest 10. So your answer is going to be either 420 or 430. So right now, pause the video and go ahead and answer this question. Round to the nearest 10. Pause the video now. 426 rounded to the nearest 10 would be 430. The reason why is because we look to the number next door. If that number is 5 or more, we're going to raise this score. So this is 6. 6 is more than 5. So this 2 will become a 3. We're going to keep anything in front of it, so we keep that 4, and everything behind it becomes a 0. So think about a number line. You're thinking about the nearest 10. Would it be 420 or 430? And the correct answer is 430. All right, here's your next one. 589. If you notice, the hundreds place is underlined, so you're going to be rounding to the nearest 100. So will this round to 500 or 600? Pause the video now to write your answer. Okay, so we're in the 500s. We'll look at the number next door. The number next door is an 8. If it's 5 or more, we raise the score. So this 500 is going to become 600. So the answer is 600 because you're rounding to the nearest 100. So you have an 8 next door, that's 5 or more. So you're thinking about a number line. Is it closer to 500 or 600? So if we have a number line right here, 589 would be about right here on this number line. So as you can see, 589 is closer to 600 than 500. Okay, your last problem is 265. If you notice, the 6 is underlined, the 6 is in the 10 space. So we're trying to figure out if this is going to round to 260 or 270 on a number line. So now pause the video and work this problem out. Round to the nearest 10. Okay, we're going to look next door. If it's 5 or more, we're going to raise the score. So this 6 is going to become a 7. So 265 rounded to the nearest 10 would be 270. So it would be like right here. So it's in the middle. When it's in the middle, it's always closer to the next highest number. So 260, 265, 270, that means that 265 is going to round up to 270 because when you look at the 6, you have to look at the number next door. 5 or more, raise that score. Guys, we're working on adding. So 423 plus 342, this is the ones place, tens place, hundreds place. You start with the ones place. 3 plus 2 equals 5, 2 plus 4 equals 6, 4 plus 3 equals 7. Most of you can do this. You're doing a great job. Sometimes we have to regroup. That's where we're having trouble. So I want you to try this new strategy. So down here I have the same problem, but I have each value, each place is a different color. So the ones are purple, the tens are blue, and I have pink for hundreds. So what you should do is take each number and let's break it down into expanded form. For instance, 423. So if you look over here, I have 400 plus 20 plus 3. That's 423. 342. Well, over here I have 300 plus 40 plus 2. So now what you're going to do is start at the top. So you're going to start with the hundreds place. So 400 plus 300 equals 700. And I got that from over here because I have a 4 in the hundreds place and a 3 in the hundreds place. So 400 plus 300 equals 700. Then I'll come down to the next place, the tens place. 20 plus 40 equals 60. And I got that from over here because this is the tens place. So if I have 2 tens, I have 20. If I have 4 tens, I have 40. So 20 plus 40 is 60. Then I come to the ones place. So 3, right here, plus 2 equals 5. So now I have all of these numbers. These are friendly numbers. These are easy to add. So now I'm going to take all 3 of these numbers. So I take 700, 60, and 5. I bring them down here, 700, 60, and 5. I add them together. 0 plus 0 plus 5 equals 5. 0 plus 6 equals 6. 7 plus nothing, these would be placeholders, so we would say these are zeros. So 7 plus 0 equals 7. So my answer is 765. So if you can see, I have the same answer using this method as I do using the traditional algorithm. So for some problems, the traditional algorithm is very easy. Like this one, it would be very easy. But for others, it's a little more complicated. Let's look at this problem. 324 plus 197. 4 plus 7 equals 11. So 11 is written like this. So I have a 1 in the ones place, and I'm going to carry that 10. So I'm going to carry the 10 up here. So now I'm going to move to the tens place. 9 plus 1 equals 10. We're trying to get friendly numbers. So 9 plus 1 equals 10, plus 2 more equals 12. So if this is the way I write 12, then I have 1 10 and I have 2 ones. So I'm going to write the 2 down here, and I'm going to carry that 1 up here. So now I have 3 plus 1 equals 4, plus 1 more equals 5. So my answer is 521. This is where I've seen the most mistakes because people forget to carry. You forget that you have to borrow. So what I want you to do is to try it. If you're having trouble doing it this way, I would like for you to try it another way. So let's take 324 and let's write that in expanded form. So I would have 300 plus 20 plus 4, 197. Let's write that in expanded form. So I would have 100 plus 90 plus 7. So this is what it looks like. So I took 324. So I said 300 plus 20 plus 4. I took 197. So now I have 100 plus 90 plus 7. So if you'll notice, I have the hundreds place, the tens place, and the ones. And these are addition problems. I'm adding. So all I have to do is say 300 plus 100 gives me 400. So that's the answer in my hundreds place. 90 plus 20, well think about it. 90 plus 10 is 100. Plus 10 more is 110. 7 plus 4 equals 11. So now I have these three numbers. So the answer is written in expanded form. So all I have to do is take those three numbers. So I'm going to take 400 plus 110 plus 11. I'm going to line them up. 0 plus 0 plus 1 equals 1. 1 plus 1 equals 2. 4 plus 1 equals 5. So my answer is 521. Okay, now I want you to try on your own. So I want you to pause the video, write this problem down, 154 plus 196, and solve it using the method I just showed you. So pause the video now. Okay, let's look at the answer. So I took 154 in expanded form, that's 100 plus 50 plus 4. 196 in expanded form is 100 plus 90 plus 6. So I start in the hundreds place. 100 plus 100 is 200. 50 plus 90 is 140. And 4 plus 6 is 10. So I have 200, 140, and 10. I took those three numbers, I put them here, and I added them up. 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 4 plus 1 is 5. 2 plus 1 is 3. Okay, check your answers. If you did not get the right answer, go back and try it again. Hi, my fabulous Fowler Falcons. Now that I have shown you how to use this method, we practiced yesterday and now you practice again today. There are links at the bottom of this video. One is for addition, one is for rounding. I need you to practice those. Make sure you put your name on your paper, get a piece of notebook paper, put your name, put the date, and make sure you number the problems. So if it's number 1, put number 1. And then I want you to write out the equation and then tell me what the answer is. I want to see how you work it out. You must show your work. So you can work on the adding video. The adding worksheet. There is also a rounding worksheet, and I want you to try your best because I want to put some dojos in your bank account. So if you are working hard, I'm going to put 5 dojos in your bank account. So come on, Fowler Falcons, rise up, try hard, make me proud.